Hello everyone, my name is Robin and welcome back to Doki Doki Salvation Remake. So in the last episode, we hang out with Monica to talk about our Sayori situation, and Monica suggests that she will go over to Sayori's and talk things out with her. When she does, things get pretty emotional, but Monica reassures Sayori that everything will be okay. And Sayori even plans to have something special for the club but keep it secret, and she says that she'll talk to MC whenever she can, to the best of her ability, of course. We left off here, so let's continue. Look around a bit aimlessly, realizing I don't really have a proper place to sit. There are a couple of guys I know from class that sit together as a group, but enough time has passed from the school year that I don't really want to shoehorn myself into their group for no reason. I'm just being a wuss about this stuff though, because Sayori is sitting in our usual table all by herself, picking away at her food and barely eating. Ah, to hell with it. It's the worst that can happen. Tells me to leave. Slowly make my way over to Sayori's table, with each step I take becoming increasingly difficult to carry out. She spots me coming over her way and immediately looks back down at her food. Hey, Sayori. She turns to look at me, trying her best to look slightly surprised. Hey, Robin. Do you mind if I stay here? Sayori blinks at me a few times. It's almost like I see her brain process what I just asked. I'm not sure if blinking animations have been implemented like they're back in the mod when I've played it, because I think this is the first time I'm now noticing, or I just don't remember. It looks nice. Sure. She smiles, which eases my worries instantly. Well, most of them. I sit myself down on the seat across from her as she returns to picking at her food. What you got there? Me? Just some food. Yeah, no doubt. Not exactly the silent treatment, but I'd argue that what she's doing now is way worse. I assume now isn't the right time to talk about that. I don't know if I'm ready to face that right now. Right. I understand. We can enjoy each other's company for now then. Is that alright? She only nods in response. Let out a soft sigh of relief as I get ready to eat. Sarah and I don't really say much to each other throughout the lunch period, minus a few questions like, how was your weekend, or did you finish your homework? Hey, will you be at the club meetings today? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I be there? Okay, just checking. I'm assuming she probably thinks I won't be going because of what happened. Even before seeing her today, I knew that I wouldn't miss the club even if it ends up being a bit awkward. I know we shouldn't rush their way into things, but I'd love to get things off my chest now. But maybe this rough spot is exactly what I need to push me in the right direction. Hey guys, how are your weekends? Hey Natsuki, my weekend was great. What about yours? Sayori's entire demeanor changes as soon as Natsuki shows up. Not exactly opposed to this though. Having everyone in the club know about Sayori and I's drama isn't what I need right now. And Sayori probably feels the exact same way. It's okay. I really need to get out of my house a little more. My dad can be really exhausting sometimes. Aw, do you want to hang out after the club meeting? I could use a little break too. Sure, that sounds fun. Don't really get to hang out much. It's nice to see Sayori take a little bit of initiative here. Her willing to hang out with other people instead of keeping to herself is a good sign. Speaking of the club, what do you think of the book we chose? Monica said she's gonna provide them for us, right? Yeah, it's the book called Truman's Story. Great, see you two at the club then. Promise Yuri I'd meet up with her for lunch at the library, so that's where I'll be going. Okay, see you later then. Nice to see she's trying to hang out with some other friends now, don't you think? Yeah, I'm glad to see that too. Sayori falls pretty silent again, but she doesn't seem as distant as she did just a few moments ago. By the way, you asked me earlier about my homework, right? I've caught up on most of my stuff already. It wasn't too difficult, honestly. It's great to hear too. Yep. Right. We stayed pretty much silent for the rest of the lunch period, with the both of us now spending time on our phones, mostly trying to distract myself from the sheer awkwardness that this entire conversation is filled with. But it's not entirely shocking considering where our relationship is at the moment. I just wonder if things are ever gonna get better soon. All the problems I ended up mentioning during our argument aren't just gonna go away even if things get patched up. What do I want out of this? I guess I need for us to solve these problems together. Hey, Sayori. I know you said it isn't the right time right now, but I'll keep it brief. Whenever you're ready to talk about things, just let me know. I'm always going to be around. Okay, I'll remember that. Glad to hear. I'm pretty sure that's the school bell. Alright, anyways, I walk into the room just as Monica places all the books down on the desk. At the same time, Natsuki, Yuri, and Sayori all walk in together. Oh hey, everyone's here at the same time for a while. Yeah, I guess everyone's excited to get to reading. Just hope this book is actually interesting and not some boring slog to get through. When was the last time you picked up a novel that one? Okay, everyone, let's not start an argument on the first day of the week. You're not fighting, Monica. Haven't you already gotten used to our friendly banter? Right. Anyway, wanted to talk to you guys about this new idea I had for the club. I'm surprised you didn't know what I was talking about the other day, Monica. I've tried asking about it before, but I guess you just forgot or something. The idea is to have a group. Oh, okay, I remember this part of the mod from the original. Oh, yeah, remember you mentioning something like that to me a while ago. I don't see why not. What does everyone else think? I think it's a wonderful idea. They say the best form of stress relief is talking things out with people you trust. And I do trust you guys after all. Monica smiles lightly. I can imagine she has a lot on her mind to share as well, considering everything that's happened over the last month or so. I think that sounds great, Siri. Really hope to get things off our chest. Yeah. How does tomorrow sound? And remember, the club's a safe space for everyone. You guys can share anything you feel like, and none of it shall ever leave the room. Yeah, I love being able to help my friends. And I don't have to worry about sharing my... They weren't terrible, Robin. It's probably the most emotions Harry has shown me in the last few days. Guess I really forgot how passionate she is about poetry in general. I know you're just saying that to be nice, Harry. It's okay. Well, I don't think so. I think they're great, because they're Robin's poems. I can't argue with that logic. They are, in fact, poems that belong to me. He does bring up a good point, though. It can get pretty tough having to write poems all the time, even though the practice is good. I wouldn't be opposed to a day where we didn't have to worry about which poem to write next. So then, we'll have our first group therapy session tomorrow. Be there or be square, or a triangle, or a circle. Sounds good. Now, back to the book we decided on. Monica hands each of us the book we chose. Truman's story. Follow the adventures of a man who has had his entire life documented from every moment he was born. The synopsis reads. Seems interesting enough. So, this isn't like a school assignment or anything like that, is it? No, it's just all for fun. We'll all agree to read up to a certain chapter, then discuss our thoughts on it once we get there. I wouldn't make you all write a book report on it or anything. It's a shame. I was already going to get started on a 5,000 word report on the first 5 chapters. 1,000 words per chapter. No, you were not! Could have fooled me without seriously she delivered that line. If we read a chapter or two today, I think it'd be nice for us to just group read like we used to when the club first started. It's a wonderful idea. We wonder why we never kept that up. We had one reading session at the beginning, but things did get a bit more chaotic. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't really phrased the best. I didn't take it that way, don't worry. I'm sure being the only guy in the club shook up some previous dynamic you all had going. It sure was fun, though. Bring up a good point, Yuri. You only ever had one group reading session at the very start. I miss those. They're always very relaxing. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Wait for me! In a flash, both Siri and Natsuki take their seats in some desk and open up their books. I'll begin as well then. Monica, Robin, you gonna join us? Right behind you. Of course, just need to get situated, but I'll join everyone in a bit. Yuri heads to a desk next to Natsuki, sits herself down, and begins to read. Follows suit, taking a desk that isn't too far from Siri, but not too close. Monica, on the other hand, heads to the front of the room to organize some papers. Maybe put some relaxing music for everyone. That way the room isn't painfully quiet. Ugh. Look up from my book and take a quick glance around the room. Each of the girls are all deep within the pages of the novel, each of their eyes moving from left to right and only ever pausing to turn the pages. Of course, the girl I'm observing the most is Sayori. She licks her fingers every time she turns a page and seems to bite her lips every once in a while. Not sure how many chapters we're supposed to read right now, but I've already made it to the 5th chapter within 30 minutes. Damn! How short are these chapters? Or how fast of a reader are you? Not sure if that makes me a fast or slow reader, but I seem to be ahead of everyone else. The room is quiet, completely silent, minus the music that Monica decided to put on while we read. I noticed Sayori lift her head up and take a quick glance at me before immediately returning back to her book. I sighed through my nose and began thinking about the past weekend again and how that all turned out. There's a part of me that just wants us to go back to the way things used to be. But then I remember that the way things were probably wasn't the best kind of relationship to begin with. It feels awful to admit that to myself. Because after everything she's been through, I still couldn't keep my promise. It's not true. It can't be. Why am I thinking like this is the end of our friendship? Sure, it's a roadblock, but at the same time, wanting to keep on trying shouldn't mean something, right? I want to be there for her and care for her like a true friend should. Like you said, maintaining our friendship first is the priority here. I think today was enough. I eased into things a bit. She told me that she wasn't ready to talk about it yet, and I have to be okay with that. Can't rush it. Shouldn't be worried because I can see it in her eyes. She still wants to be my friend, yet the fear of losing her makes me incredibly nervous. Take a peek at Sayori again. She's deeply engaged with the novel again, smiling a few times at the lighthearted dialogue that the protagonist displays from within. At the point I imagine Sayori's traveled to that world, escaping this one and everything that holds her down. I have to understand. The pain that Sayori is going through isn't something that just disappears. And the pain of her attempting suicide doesn't just disappear either. I don't think I've had a single day where I haven't thought about what happened. But I think that all of this, our strained relationship, our big fight, It's all part of the healing process. Maybe I had too much on my plate with Yuri's self-harm on top of everything else. It's no wonder I ended up cracking under the stress. But I should at least acknowledge myself for recognizing this. But my next step in all this, though, is to acknowledge that Siri's pain is real. I've told myself that I already did in the past, but I don't think this was ever true. I was too obsessed with trying to understand every single little thing that she felt. Got lost and should have stopped and just showed my compassion. Instead, I likely made her feel afraid to show her feelings around me. I wanted to be the person she could rely on and vent to, and I failed her in that regard. But now I think it's time I picked up the pieces. Fell back to what I thought to myself earlier. Today was a good step in the right direction. She needs space, and I'll respect that. She'll be hanging out with Natsuki later today, and that's okay. I'll still support you from a distance. Thrown off my train of thought when the sound of a book closing enters my eardrums. Maka stands up from her desk, prompting all of us to look up from our books and direct our attention to her. Okay, everyone, I think we all made some good progress in today's read. Yup. Yeah, though I can't help but wish this story could be better told in... But yes, I made some good progress. It's a wonderful story so far with a hint of mystery behind it. I noticed I finished reading 5 chapters before everyone else. You guys just kept on reading. Either way, that was surprisingly relaxing. I enjoyed it. Nice to actually get involved in some literature in the literature club for once. Glad to hear everyone had a good time. That'll conclude today's meeting then. I'll see you all tomorrow. Monica walks up to the front of the room to reorganize the same papers. Hey Sari, are we still on for today? Yes ma'am, did you have any ideas? Well, I wanted to ask if we could go to the grocery store and then hang out at your place. I want to bake some brownies today. Oh, I do like brownies. Sure, let's head out then. And just like that, Sari and Natsuki leave the club room. Sari didn't even really look at me during the entire interaction. I tell myself again, she just needs space. That's all she needs. Noticing that Yuri and Monica are the only ones in the room, however, I crack. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. You both already know the story of what happened. Monica knows as well? Ah, so you told Yuri about this. Yeah. Sorry to get both of you involved. I still have a lot on my mind, even after talking things out. Besides, I wanted to know how things went between you two the other day. Right, I guess I should tell you all about that. I think she feels just as horrible as you do about everything. Wait, what am I missing here? I had asked Monica to talk to Sayori for me, and well, to be honest, she misses you, but she isn't ready to really work through all this yet. And to give things to you straight, she was hurt by what you said, but she also wishes she could take back the things she said too. I looked down in shame. I don't even think Sayori said anything that I take as mean-spirited or upsetting. Probably just feels bad. So, she isn't giving up on me? I had to convince her not to. Unfortunately, she seemed pretty adamant that this was the end. But I was able to talk things through and get her to see that things aren't over just yet. I see. Feel my eyes water, but hold firm. I'm sorry, guys. Guess I'm just too afraid. Afraid of losing her due to my own stupidity. As you all know, that already almost happened. Don't blame yourself for that. It's not your fault. It's really hard to believe that. I wish I could tell you more. All I can guarantee is that this wasn't your fault at all. I remember back when Sayori was still in the hospital, Monica told me the same thing. But back then, never really felt as sincere as it does right now. This time, she isn't even able to look at me while saying it. I'm guessing this has something to do with whatever it was that happened between you two. She suddenly freezes up and looks directly at me. She told you? No, I don't think I'm supposed to know anything. These are just my assumptions. I see. I'm sorry, Robin. Can't really say anything unless I know Sayori's okay with it. Right, no, that's okay. I understand. All I needed to hear was that she isn't going to give up on me. Or, it's a better way to put it, she isn't going to give up on us. Sorry to hear you're feeling this way. But it's as I said last week. You have to give her the time and space she needs. Yeah, I know. It's hard, but I feel myself learning from this as well. Kinda made me realize I have to be watching out for myself just as much as I watch out for her. Scratching my head nervously. I said always so difficult. I think that just makes you a good person at heart. I think all of us struggle with loving and being kind to ourselves. I know I do. Yeah, it's pretty tough. But like I said, I think it's about time I changed things up and turned myself around. Just needed to get this out there with you guys. Try to keep this in, and to be honest, I don't know how appropriate this is going to be to bring up at group therapy session tomorrow. Well, you never know. Maybe she'll feel comfortable enough to tell all of us about it. Maybe. It's a bit nerve-wracking for me. It's only because I could potentially be facing some things that I've kept tucked away for so long. I get that. I feel the same way. Yuri gently rubs her left arm. I know Sayori, and at least I know enough to know that she truly cares about everyone in the club. I didn't really get to say it earlier, but her taking the initiative to not only hang out with Natsuki, but also suggest a group therapy session with her friends. I'm sure that took some real strength from her. It's part of what makes me want to try so hard for her too. I chuckled to myself as I remember our childhood friendship escapades. We had a small rivalry going when it came to little things like these, not wanting to fall behind and always trying to one-up each other. It's no different now. Can't let her get ahead of me, I guess. I understand that this has to be a joint effort from the both of us, and I can see that she's trying as well. I'm still pretty upset over the whole thing, but I'd be lying if I said this was a completely hopeless situation. I'm very glad to hear that from you, Robin. Sure, things will work out for you both. Same here. Fully believe that you and Siri are right for each other. Thanks, guys. I don't know if I'd be in the same mindset if I didn't have you two by my side. So truly, thanks. I let out a heavy sigh as I make my way back home on my own. Clearing that took you just a few houses down, probably having a good time. And here I am, wallowing in... Ah, snap out of it! You're doing fine! Monica and Yuri said it themselves! Besides, it's a great opportunity to catch up on more assignments as well as get started on whatever work I have today. Should be a piece of cake. Let's do this. Sit back in my chair and place my arms around my head. Beast. Check the time on my phone and see that it's nearly time to get ready for bed. I don't really want to stay up late doing this. It's important after all. Oh, God. It's Sayo Mayo. Want to come over for some brownies? There's way too many for Natsuki and me. Lol. I'm a bit surprised that she's texting me at all, but I'm not complaining either. Ah, sure, I'll be right there. Get up from my chair and walk towards the front door. Take a deep breath and try to calm myself down. This is good, right? She's inviting me over for brownies. I mean, if that isn't a sign of goodwill, I don't know what is. Though it's entirely possible that Natsuki simply just asked her to invite me and didn't really want to show any signs of trouble between us. But I take a chance to talk to Sayori over anything. And would I ever turn down a brownie? Arrive at Sayori's front door and sigh. Everything will be alright. Just be cool. Be yourself. Knock on the door and step back a few steps. Come in! Follow her instructions and let myself in. I'm greeted by both Sayori and Natsuki in casual clothing. My nose is enticed by the smell of freshly baked brownies. Smells nice. Knew you wouldn't be able to resist. Hook, line, and sinker. Sayori nudges Natsuki quickly. Which was, of course, my idea. So let's stop messing around and grab some, shall we? Okay. Walk over to the kitchen table where brownies are stacked up neatly on a plate. Grab a napkin and set a brownie on top of it. Awesome, they're still warm. Sayori and Natsuki follow suit. Of course, no better time to eat a brownie. Heard that you can get sick if you eat brownies straight out of the oven. That's just a myth. Although I could see it happening if you go into this thinking it will hurt your stomach. Even if it were true, I wouldn't let that. The three of us walk back towards Sayori's living room and sit ourselves down on the couch. Decide to take the couch in front of the window while Natsuki and Sayori will sit down on the couch towards the middle of the room. So, what you guys do today? Nothing much, just a little bit of grocery shopping and stuff. Yup. Probably sounds a bit boring, but I had lots of fun. Great to hear. Glad to see you're doing well. Gives me a soft but sad looking smile. So hey Natsuki, I was wondering. You're the baking expert in the club, so I wanted to ask which you think is better. Brownies made from scratch or... Oh, that's easy, from the box. Though this is only because it's more cost effective. Learn that it's just better going for the box option because it saves money. It's really the only major reason though. Homemade brownies are just better in every other way. If costs weren't a factor, homemade brownies would sweep. Is the difference in quality that noticeable? Yeah, it is. They're so good it'll make the boxed ones taste worse in comparison. Yeah, it's all down to cost effectiveness. Nobody's ever really going to turn out a brownie regardless if it's homemade or not. Don't really stress out about it too much. Interesting. Guess you've always come across as some kind of baker puritan or something like that. Well, a true baking connoisseur would know all the various ways to bake something and which would be the most effective way to do so. Right. Guess that makes sense. Conversation dies off as we all focus on finishing up our treats. Can't help but feel like I'm doing something wrong by not talking to Sayori though. I thought that easygoing and lighthearted conversation would be totally fine, but I feel like that's just a way to dodge the true matter at hand. And if that were the case, it'd be a bad thing if I did. So, how'd you two meet? Oh, I can answer this one. Natsuki was one of the last members to join the club. I remember the day she walked in like it was yesterday. As soon as she walked in, it was almost like the entire club room filled with... I wouldn't say it went down like that, but I did have a pretty easy time joining the club. I'll say though, in hindsight, everything seemed a little rushed. Yeah, it really did. Ow. Well, rushed as in it seemed like Monica was trying to get 4 members as quick as possible. The club was still very fun and relaxing, but it started to seem like she was losing track of that initial goal of hers. I see. Yeah, now that you mention it, she did seem like she was in a hurry. I get that she's a popular girl and all, But if I remember correctly, she left the debate club in order to dedicate her full attention to the literature club. As soon as I joined, meetings got shorter or just straight up canceled. Didn't really give any of us a chance to really get to know each other. We still had daily meetings, and Monica still seemed to give it her all. The meetings just didn't last as long as I'd like them to. That was also around the time Monica and I began to slowly drift apart as friends. It just suddenly happened. And then you showed up. I raised my hands in the air to show my innocence. Not keeping you of anything. Trying to pinpoint the time where Monica's behavior changed. Siri shakes her head. I can't help but wonder how things would have been if we just had more time to really get closer to one another. But that's not what the conversation topic is. You wanted to know how Natsuki and I met, right? Right, sorry. Let's see. Well, when I first joined the club, I thought Sayori was the president with how upfront she was. She was extremely welcoming, and when I talked about my manga, she was even more interested. One particular interaction, I remember Sayori showing some interest in manga, but not knowing where to start. Yeah, the donut. What? What donut? I'm a donut, remember? I mean, I have the attention span of one. Oh, the donut! Sayori and Natsuki both giggle loudly, leaving me in the dark. I don't get it. Oh, nothing. Just some insider Sayori and I have. Yeah, it was when Natsuki was helping me pick out some manga to read. We were gonna read together, but Monica ended that meeting early, so we didn't really get to talk about it much. She just gave me some suggestions. Yeah, but you know what? I'm kind of glad that happened. Not trying to sound rude or anything. It seemed like I thought Sayori was just being a little too pushy with things. So like how things turned out last week when you confronted me about my other friends. But Natsuki suddenly pauses. Ugh, I'm still not good at this friend stuff. What I'm trying to say is, I've learned a lot about myself, like more than I ever thought I could. So even if things didn't turn out the way we would have liked, I'm still glad things are the way they are now. I'm glad too. Sayori glances at me and gives me a soft smile. Return that smile with as much sincerity as I can show. Oh, right! Gonna take a shower. Staying overnight. Leave you guys to it. And just like that, Natsuki grabs her bag and heads towards Sayori's bathroom. Okay then. Alright. Music just stopped, so I think things are about to go down. Maybe not in shambles, hopefully. Especially my nervously as I realized Sayori doesn't exactly seem too thrilled about the outcome. You know, I told myself that I'd be ready to talk tonight. When the moment actually came, hey, what's the advice you'd give to others if they didn't feel ready to talk about something? I tell them not to force themselves if they don't feel ready. Right, so that's okay. You're just having a good time. Nothing more needs to be said or done right now. It's funny though. What is? Natsuki was the one who had the idea to invite you over, not me. I see. But it was only because I didn't really think about it. I then told her that I felt shy around you to try and make her reconsider. Guess I failed to realize that only make her want to invite you more. Laughed lightly along with Sayori. In a way, I'm kind of glad that it went that way. Because I really want to talk to you now. I just had no idea where to begin. I'll start by first apologizing. I said something that I didn't mean that night. You don't ever have to forgive me for that. What I said was just a result of my frustrations with not understanding how you really felt. And that's not your fault. Sorry too, because I also said some mean things. I didn't mean to kick you out or say things that made you mad. I got frustrated too, and I want to apologize for that. Get up from my couch and switch over to the other, sitting close to her. I think we both need to come to a conclusion here. We don't really understand each other, do we? Sorry, was that too much? No, it's only because that's probably true. I'm still stuck in the past and how we used to be. So I just thought things would be the same even after all those years. What I didn't grasp was that we both became very different people over the years. We wanted to face the reality that I was no longer fit to be your best friend. Look away for a short moment to think about those words. It's true, isn't it? You're right that we both changed over the years. But I don't think that means you're unfit to be my best friend. So consider you my best friend, regardless of everything that's happened. I do too. Move a bit closer to this area as I try to find the right words. With all that being said, I wouldn't mind if we tried again. Well, what do you mean? We're both different people now, so I place my left hand over my chest and reach out my right for a handshake. Okay. In all seriousness, I do mean that I want for us to start over in a way. No pressure, no drama, just two being pals. Would you like that? It's hard to do that. You and I both know that already. But I think I'd be willing to try. I don't want to let my depression control me anymore. I think I'm ready for the real Siri to come out of her shell. Happy to hear that. Before I any chance, Jack Siri leads over and wraps her arms around me. I don't really have anything more to say, and I get the feeling Siri feels just the same. Return the embrace and hold her close to me for as long as I can. Ugh. After a few more minutes go by, I decide that it's time for me to head home. I prepare myself to leave, and Siri grabs my arm. Hey, about what we talked about? Yeah? What's up? Guess I just don't want to come across too hasty. What I mean is, I might not be able to move as fast as you when it comes to working on our friendship. Don't worry, Siri. I understand. We'll never leave you behind. Thanks. Gives Siri a friendly smile before wishing her goodnight and heading out the front door. As soon as the door closes behind me and I take a few steps forward, I let out a huge sigh as I had been holding my breath for the entire time. I think I handled that pretty well. Like she said, though, I can't rush her into things. I'm just glad she liked the idea of starting all over. Seems like that's the best course to take right now. Pull out my phone and check the time. Realizing it's nearly time for bed, I quickly place my phone back and head back home. Jesus Christ, hurry up! Okay, feels good to actually get a full 9 hours of sleep. Would have thought that sleep was actually important. Not me! From the corner of my eye, I see Siri walking down the street.
I was walking down the street, bitch, walking down the street.
Happily waving. Don't see Natsuki anywhere, so I assume she must have made her way back home or went to school. Good morning! Morning! Sleep okay? Yup, you? Yeah, first time I had a real good night's rest in a while. Slept like a baby. Me too. Who would have thought sleep was actually important? Oh, that's literally what I just thought a few seconds ago. Oh, but I was... No, you weren't. Let's get going. Without spending too much time on the previous topic, we make our way to school. Don't talk much, and there's subtle sense of awkwardness, though it doesn't feel wrong or anything. The best way I could describe it would be as if you're walking with your crush. You don't really want to say the wrong thing, so you enjoy each other's company. We arrived to Siri's morning class ahead of schedule, so we decide to take a seat on a nearby bench. Siri pulls out her phone and begins to scroll around. Can't help but feel a bit disappointed that she's doing this. Not that I like to sound bitter, but someone being on her phone while you're with them isn't exactly the best. Look at this cat, isn't it the cutest? Oh man, do like me some cats. Siri scooches a bit closer to me and puts her phone into view. Something you want to show me? Oh no, nothing in particular. I just didn't want to... That's nice. Siri continues scrolling past various funny videos, cat pictures, and some random inspiring quotes plastered on some nice backgrounds. Notably, she doesn't really have much else on her feed. Wait, what was that one? Siri scrolls back up to a funny image that makes me chuckle. How did you miss that one? I just really find it funny. I can tell when something isn't that funny, so I just skip over it. Fair, I guess the thing I find funny might be different from yours. True, let me show you a funny picture real quick. I thought it was hilarious, but maybe you won't. Please spend a few seconds looking for the image. Take a look at this one. This showed me an image of a four-panel comic. The main punchline of the joke was a man wearing a shirt saying, "I help blind kids only." So... Zooey mama.
Zooey mama.
That's dark, but I smile. That isn't a bad thing, is it? Ah, so you did find it funny. No, I don't think it's bad. Joke's clever and dark, but I only laugh at the clever aspect. I'd give you that. It was pretty funny. You never struck me as the type to appreciate dark humor like that. You think so? That's pretty neat. That's our cue. Siri and I both get up and stretch a bit with Siri letting out a loud yawn as she does so. Sleepy? Nah, this class is boring. Got sleepy just thinking about it. Don't fall asleep in class, you don't want to end up like me. She only gives me a friendly punch on my arm before heading into class. Too soon? I only scratch my head as I head towards my own class. The rest of the school day passes by pretty uneventfully. Siri and I didn't meet up for lunch as usual and had a normal conversation, which is probably the best thing I could have hoped for. Before entering the club, I noticed Monica walking down the hallway. Hey Monica, late again? Hey, from my perspective, it doesn't seem like you're doing anything. This isn't about me. Before Monica has a chance to retort, I immediately slide the door open and rush inside. Now Monica, our beloved club president, is late once again. Hee hee. If I was just a few seconds earlier, you'd been the late one. And you know what we do late club. Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, crap. Ah! Smacks me lightly on the head. Ow! Since when was this a thing? 15 seconds ago. I vote to get rid of this new law. If I knew being smacked was a punishment, I wouldn't have joined. I'm only kidding. I'm just messing with Robin. That makes more sense. You're very lively today, Monica. It's nice to see. Am I? Yeah, maybe it's because today's the day of our group session. Oh, right. Today, isn't it? What's wrong? Not ready to talk about things? You don't have to share things if you don't really feel ready to talk about it. Alright, don't feel like we're pushing you to say anything. You can even talk about fun things if you want. Well, it's not that. I mean, sort of like that. It's just like group therapy makes it sound kind of weird if you get me. Let's not call it that. In fact, let's not call it anything. We're just a group of great friends getting together to talk about life. That helps. Well, with that out of the way, shall we get started? Let me make some tea for everyone. Monica and I arranged 5 desks in a small circle, with just enough space for all of us to fit in each one. Yuri heads to the back to grab our usual tea-making gear and prepare some. Frick. I know I googled this word to see the pronunciation, but I already forgot it. And plus, that was probably more than 5 episodes ago, and it was only said once. So, if you don't mind.
Never met, but she's all I see at night. Never met, but she's always on my mind.
Yuri heads to the back to grab her usual tea-making gear and prepare some chamomile tea. Natsuki reaches into her bag, pulls out some brownies, and places one on each of the desks. Terry, seemingly having planned ahead for the session, brings out a tissue box. Because we're about to see some tears happening. You know, yeah. As Natsuki finished placing the brownies, Yuri's tea is just about finished. She carefully pours into small individual teacups and carries them all on a tray towards us. We all help her out by grabbing our own teacups and placing them on the desk next to the brownies. Take our seats and grab ourselves and make ourselves comfortable. So, tap my fingers on my desk and look around. Who wants to go first? There's a slight pause before she raises her hand. Me, I had to try to go first! Just bear with me, alright? Seems easy at first, but it might be pretty hard as I go along. We all share sympathetic smiles as Sayori prepares herself to talk. Sayori clears her throat and lets out a sigh. Where to begin, huh? Well, for starters, I'll talk about some of my recent favorite things. For example, Natsuki coming over to hang out was really fun. She's a great house guest. Nah, you're just saying that because you let me use your oven to bake you stuff. And maybe so, but I seriously do appreciate your company. It's always a good time to hang out with you. And Yuri, we don't get to hang out often either. That should change, don't you think? I guess we can, but I don't think I'm anywhere near as fun as Natsuki. Nonsense. You're just as fun. Just in your own special way. Which is kind of where I'm going with this. I've been trying to find the time and effort to hang out with my friends. It's not always easy to do that. But I even got to hang out with Monica this past weekend. It was a very rewarding time for me. And I hope it was for you too. So he reaches over and touches Monica's hand, making her jolt slightly. Oh, well, I'm glad you feel that way. Really, I am. Theory's smile clearly dissipates. Dang, I was hoping that talking about good stuff first would have made this easier. You don't have to say anything if you don't feel ready to. Just like you said, you can talk about fun stuff. Right, but I feel like I'd be doing it myself a disservice. Theory slowly raises her hand and rubs it. Oh gosh. Can't show you yet, but my scar is hidden right here. Every night, every day, it's a constant reminder that I've hurt myself and, in turn, all of you. It's still very hard. It's hard to keep telling myself that everything's okay. Sometimes it really feels like it isn't. I never thought I'd ever express myself in front of all of you like this. But that's a good sign, right? I think it is. Being able to talk about your true feelings in a group like this takes real strength. I'm proud of you. I am too. Really glad you're here, Sayori. So am I. You might actually already know how I feel, but I'm truly happy to be able to call you my best friend. Seeing you get past all this day by day, simply put, it's really inspiring. Thanks, guys. It's funny, I normally wouldn't even be able to take these messages to heart, but I actually believed them this time. It's a really nice feeling. Anyway, I think that's all I'm ready to share for now. Sorry if I already brought down everyone else's mood with my silly problems. They aren't silly, dude. Don't downplay everything you've been through and everything you've accomplished. Natsuki's right. Don't feel like you're bringing down our moods. Personally, I'm actually quite happy that you're talking about some of this stuff with our friends. It's a sign that you've really improved. Sayori sighs and stays silent for a few seconds. You're right. I'll keep trying my best. Glad to hear. Would you like to go next, Natsuki? Yeah, I guess you aren't really giving me much of a choice here. Guess I could start with fun things too. Lately, I've been making more of an effort to hang out with you guys outside the club. It hasn't really been easy trying to step away from a group of people that I thought were my friends, but you guys have really helped me along. Speaking of, though, Natsuki looks towards Yuri. I can't forget about you, Yuri. I think you're one of the greatest friends I've ever had. I know we have some fights sometimes, and I know I can be a real pain to deal with, but geez, how come you have to be so nice to me? Yuri kind of sort of deals with me on a daily basis. We've gone to the library or cafe together sometimes, mostly just to talk about our differences in literature. And admittedly, I learn a lot just by being around her. So thanks for being such a good friend, Yin. Of course, it's only because you're such a great friend to me too. You've really helped me appreciate the parts of myself I've never really been too fond of. I don't really know where else to go with this, but I'd like to start by going back to you, Sayori. Me? Yuri looks down at her left arm. She isn't really... I can relate to not being able to show your scars to the people you trust. I've done things to myself that I can't even imagine saying out loud. And Natsuki's like, wait, hold the phone. For as long as I can remember, doing these pitiful and harmful things to myself was how I managed my anxieties. But standing here together, talking about all this has made me realize I'm finally moving away from the storm. In other words, I feel like I'm getting better at expressing myself properly without fearing judgment. And I find myself not relying on these harmful activities as much as I used to. Yuri turns towards me. Robin, you've been a massive help on the journey. I'd rather not get into details, but if you hadn't done what you did, I don't think I've ever would have made the effort to stop doing these things. Yuri turns to Natsuki before I get a chance to say anything. Natsuki, you really are my best friend. I don't think I would have found better ways to cope with my anxiety if I never worked up the courage to become your friend. I see a lot of myself in you, and I guess that made me want to be your friend. Yuri then turns towards Monica. Monica, I want to personally thank you for creating the literature club. Without the club, who knows where I'd be? Even if I risked sounding like a broken record, I also wanted you to know that I completely forgive you for all of our past grievances. Monica sighs and looks away for a bit. I have to be honest. Speaking to all of you like this is the last thing I ever saw myself doing. Hard for me to even conceptualize the idea of talking about the things I wish I could talk about. The best way I can put it is, she pauses. Her eyes shift directions a few times before she speaks again. It feels like I'm losing my sense of self. I'm sorry if that's not a satisfying enough explanation for all my strange behaviors recently. Like I said, it's hard for me to want to explain the full reason. I don't think I ever can. And that's okay. You're already doing something amazing by telling us just a small part of how you've been feeling lately. You made the right move. No, that's not it. I will never be understood. It's the one thing in my life that I've been certain about. I've said before that I've always valued the harsh truth over a sweet lie. But I'm gonna need you to all trust me on this. I'll never ask for anything again if you honor it. I will never be able to explain the truth to you all. And that's the end of that. The high room remains incredibly still. It feels like Monica dropped a major bombshell right on top of us, yet there really isn't anything concrete to actually think about. Terry places her hand on Monica's shoulder. Like I said earlier, you don't have to share anything, even if that means taking it to your grave. I'm just happy that you decided to talk to us about how you're feeling, even if it's only a glimpse. I'm very glad too, as am I. Even if we don't know the full story, it's really nice to know the reasons behind some of your decisions. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that we'll all be here for you. Absolutely. We've all got things hidden away in our head that we can never talk out loud. I know what makes us all human. We've got your back. Nothing will change. Monica looks away from the group and stays quiet for a while. Monica slightly waves her fingers and sighs. Thanks for listening. And just like that, Monica seems just about done with talk. I guess it's my turn. I don't really have anything specific to talk about either. At least, nothing I'd be ready for anyway. But I can start by saying that this semester has been I pause for a moment once I look into Sayori's eyes. They seem to glisten as she awaits to hear what I have to say and follows up with a warm and encouraging smile. Guess it's time I bit the bullet on this one. It's been very stressful. Probably the most stressful semester I've had in my entire high school career. I'm sure I don't really need to get into all the details, but one thing we can all relate to is the amount of work that's piling on us. Not to mention we're all graduating soon, so the motivation to continue pulling through isn't as high as it used to be. That's very true. I agree. I find it difficult to work on these assignments knowing I'll probably graduate without having to do them. But it feels wrong to not do them, if that makes any sense. Right, but the difference is my grades aren't very good. Don't feel bad or anything. It's 100% on me, and I'm already improving quite a bit in some classes. Well, you're no dummy. Academically, at least. What I mean is that you've always come across as one of those guys that is secretly super smart but is just lazy? Yeah, exactly. Right. Normally I denied that, but you're both right. I'm a pretty lazy guy. Not sure if that'll ever change, but I'm seeing improvements, so it's good for something, right? I'm sure things will turn out well for you in all aspects of life, not just school. Thanks, guys. This group talk stuff is pretty neat. I knew it was a good idea. Thank you for letting us do this today, Monica. Oh, of course. That was a great idea, too. Keeping these inside your head for so long can really be overwhelming, you know? I feel like I was just one club meeting away from snapping. Ooh. Monica smiles warmly for the first time we sat down, completely contrasting what she just said out loud. I only share a few concerned glances with the others before clearing my throat awkwardly. Well, it's almost time to go. Let's fix up these desks before we leave. Alright, not much else is said between the 5 of us, outside of a few jokes about Yuri's unexpected strength while lifting the desk, or Sayori wanting to take the uneaten snacks. It's a really nice thing to do, though. I think I'd be down for more like this where we just talk. Calling it a group therapy does feel a bit superfluous, but I'm not really sure what else to call it. Once we finish reciting the class, we all say goodbye, and I head home with Sayori for the first time since last week. I yawned loudly. Oh, that was fun, I think. I'm glad you liked it. Just between you and me, my therapist is the one who gave me the idea, actually. She first suggested for me to attend some sessions with people I didn't know, and I didn't really like that idea. And well, the rest is history. Right, well, good on you for making that decision. Anyway, you want to come over today? I feel like making grilled cheese sandwiches. To my surprise, even though I quickly realized I shouldn't be, she shakes her head. I have a therapy session today, remember? Oh, alright. You do. Well, have a good time then. I'll be there if you need anything. I form a fist with my hand and reach out for a fist bump. She smiles as our fists slightly collide with each other. See ya! With a final smile and a nod, we separate our hands and turn in opposite directions toward our houses. Ugh, it isn't easy. I don't want to rush things, but deep down inside, I'm very eager to get back to how it used to be. It's funny, I don't really find myself wondering if she hates me or is still mad at me anymore. It really just feels like we're starting over, and I think that's a good thing. %39 on the reset progress. Okay, so I know there's gonna be some interesting Monica stuff, but as per usual, I'm gonna have to end the episode here. So that has been Doki Doki Salvation Remake for now. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.